I want to jump right in with a few recent concerns that people have had, even on my show. I've invited lots of different people, and I love talking to people that have a difference of opinion with me. And I don't typically push back on people when they bring up different things, although I may disagree with them. So I wanted to bring up some of these things that have been brought up recently and get your thoughts on them. My first question to you is, do you have any concerns with people doing a carnivore diet in the long term?
No, because it's just pure nutrition. I mean, you're just getting all the basic nutrients that are essential for life, and in their most bioavailable, accessible, and balanced forms, and you're excluding as many toxins and harmful anti-nutrients and chemicals that you can. So when you sort of reframe it, you don't call it just is the carnivore diet good long term, but is optimal nutrients and avoiding toxins good long term? I would say definitely yes.
Interesting. So I asked that specific question to somebody. We were doing an episode specifically on bone health, and he was mentioning all the beneficial things that come with vegetables in particular, all the
Yeah.
nutrients that come in
Yeah,
vegetables. And I asked,
oxalates, stripping
oh,
calcium out of your bones,
basic,
yeah,
right?
those sorts of things. Yeah, good.
So I asked him the question, that exact same question that I asked you. Do you have any concerns with people doing a carnivore diet? I brought myself up as an example. I've been doing this for 7 years now. Do you have any concerns with people doing a carnivore diet in the long term? And his answer, it stunned me, and I didn't even know how to respond because he said, yes, it does. And then he stopped. And it was like dead silence. And I didn't even know like what to say because there was no justification for his
Mhm.
answer. He just said, like, yes, I'm concerned. Is there anything in particular about vegetables, plant matter of any kind, in particular for bone health, in your opinion?
No, oh God, no, no. I mean, no. I think that a lot of the problems that we have with bone health and osteoporosis as we age come from eating plants and not getting enough meat because we're not making collagen properly. We're stripping out calcium out of our body. Oxalates, as I mentioned, can get into I mean, in spinach, it's in the form of oxalic acid. If anybody's ever used oxalic acid, you put a very, very small amount of this into a large amount of water, and you can strip rust off your house or a wall with this stuff, right? So that actually is in that form of oxalic acid in spinach, and when you eat this, it absorbs into your bloodstream, and that actually can bind to minerals such as calcium and strip them out, just like you strip rust off of a wall. So that is obviously a concern. I mean, there are studies going back to the 1950s that show that even though spinach has high levels of calcium, when people are fed this in clinical trials in humans, their calcium level actually decreased because the calcium was bound up in ways that we don't have the biomechanics and enzymes to break down and extract. And the oxalates that are in the spinach strip out the calcium that's in our bloodstream. So when you eat spinach, even though it has calcium in it, it actually lowers your calcium levels. Your calcium levels have to stay in a very, very, very close range in your bloodstream because if it goes too far out of balance, your heart stops. And so that's obviously something your body's going to protect you from. And so you're going to dip into your biggest reserve of calcium, which would be your bones. And I would be willing to bet that we'll figure out eventually that this is a large part of that, that we're eating things like oxalates and oxalic acid, but it's not the only thing. And this is stripping calcium out of our bloodstream, and so we're having to pull and leach out calcium out of our bones. Also, you don't get vitamin D3 from plants. You have to get it from either the sun or from meat and animal fat. And these are the two things that we're being told to avoid the most. Vitamin D3 is extremely important for calcium uptake in the gut, and it affects your parathyroid hormone, which affects the building, reabsorption, breakdown, and repair of your bones. And so if you get your animal nutrients out of balance, you will not be able to control the metabolism of your bone and maintain proper bone health. So osteoporosis is extremely common. We in medical textbooks right now, it says that you can increase your bone density up to age 25, and then basically you cannot do it after that. And your body is just in decline after that, it's just entropy taking over, breaking you down. And so this is very common that we see women in particular getting osteoporosis. Now, is that, there's part of this is because their estrogen levels drop off after menopause, and estrogen is important for collagen formation, deposition, and your bones are made out of collagen. And so this is also part of our bone health as well. And so since their estrogen drops off very sharply, this can affect that as well. But it also, statistically, women are more likely to eat vegetables, do what they're told, eat their leafy greens and these sorts of things. And this is likely the case that they are exposing themselves to more oxalates and other compounds in those plants that are going to be stripping out calcium. And this is very common. In my second year as a doctor, I was working in the emergency department, and I had a young woman who came in with kidney stones. And when I was speaking to the attending, discussing the case with him, he just immediately just said, "Does she eat a lot of spinach?" I was like, "I have no idea. I didn't ask." And it's like, "Yeah, always ask because spinach has a lot of oxalates, and 75% of kidney stones are oxalate stones, calcium oxalate stones. And we focus on the calcium. Ooh, don't have too much calcium, you'll get calcium oxalate stones. But it's the oxalate part of that that's important. You're supposed to have calcium in your body. You're not supposed to have a large amount of oxalates in your body. So it's oxalates that cause a problem. And so this is well known in mainstream medicine that when you eat a lot of these plants, they cause a lot of oxalate stones, and that is stripping out calcium out of their bones as well. And it's much more common for that to be women, young women in particular, to get these kidney stones. So no, there's nothing I can think of that is going to be beneficial for bone. I mean, there will be things that you could use to help in bone formation, but it's going to be a poor man's version of anything that you would actually need and get from meat. There's nothing in there that you can't get from meat. There's no nutrient, full stop, that that comes in plants that you cannot get in meat at all. There's just none. And I have patients, my own patients, not just people I heard about on the internet. There's plenty of those, but my own patients who I've sent for DEXA scans and put on a carnivore diet, and they have reversed osteoporosis. Some in their 30s had early osteoporosis. Excuse me. And I've had ladies in their 60s and 70s who have gone from severe osteoporosis to normal for a 25-year-old woman within a year by going on a carnivore diet and not taking calcium supplements. That doesn't necessarily happen like that for everybody. There are multiple reasons why that might happen and why they might be suffering from osteoporosis. Some people have severe hormonal deficiencies and issues like that. I've one lady who had some very serious hormonal issues early on in her life, and so she developed osteoporosis earlier. So that's sort of a different consequence. But I've literally seen women in their 70s reverse osteoporosis with only eating meat. So if there was something that we were missing from meat, that wouldn't happen. If we needed that for bone health. And the simple fact that we think in mainstream medicine that it is not possible to increase bone mineral density, bone density generally, after the age of 25. And we're seeing people go on a carnivore diet and increase it in their 60s and 70s. And I'm sure there are examples later than that as well. That obviously shows that you're getting everything that you need from meat and then some, and you're putting your body in the particular set of circumstances that they are able to rebuild their bones, and giving the right hormonal balance, vitamin nutrient balance, and so on. So if you were missing something, if there's something in plants that you just simply had to have to grow bones, that couldn't happen. So yeah, did you remember what he said that you needed from plants
Literally,
that
that's all he said. That's all he said is, yes, I'm concerned. And he stopped.
yeah,
And it just
yeah,
totally caught me off guard. And I had like changed the subject because I didn't know what to
yeah,
say.
yeah. You didn't just ask him, it was like, okay, why? Or anything like
I
that?
should
Like,
have. I should have. I need
yeah.
to push back on people a little bit more than I do. But
Well, yeah,
yeah,
it's not
there's
even
no
pushing back. It's
justification.
just asking for clarification. Okay, so what do you mean by that? You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Yeah. What exactly are your concerns? Just a
Yep.
follow-up question, and which is perfectly fair,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have concerns over actually getting proper nutrition and avoiding toxins.